Hello everybody, welcome back to Point Zero Games. My name is Josh. Today is Thursday. Typically we would have Thursday night fights for Heroclix coming at you, but we won't, maybe we will, maybe we won't have that coming for the next couple of weeks. Namely because the WizKids event system came out, and so our local venue is doing a couple of different events in order to give a little bit of testing to that system and make sure that it's working well and everything else. So today instead we had a tournament, and I'm going to give you a recap of that tournament as it stands right now. So the tournament itself was called Go Big, and the rules and structure of it were a modern age tournament, 600 points. No, you had to have exactly 3 figures, and none of them could be under 125 points. Resources and relics were allowed, as well as ATAs. So first, right off the bat, I decided I wanted to do an Asgardians team. So I was going to run the 200-point Thor from Thor the Dark World mini set, the 200-point Thor from the Marvel 10 set, and the Heimdall from Fear itself. Namely as a way to lock down anybody trying to charge in at me, but also because Heimdall has a really nice defensive special that works with anybody that's Asgardian. So I play tested that team against Patrick, and it worked pretty well. But I felt like the tech overall was really weak. I felt like I was just throwing a bunch of bruisers out there. And so Patrick and I stayed up until 6 in the morning the other night to come up with a couple of different team options. He was running an Apocalypse team that was Darkseid from Superman Legion of Superheroes, Calabac from the Legion of Superheroes set, and the Big Barda from Batman. And he basically just had a huge Boom Tube Alpha Strike team. I ended up eventually coming up with a team. Patrick helped a lot on this, but we came up with this team, and this is what I ended up running. So first off, we have the 200-point Iron Doom figure from the Invincible Iron Man set. We have the Nightmare piece from Amazing Spider-Man at his full 217-point line. And then we also have Ghost Rider from the Amazing Spider-Man set, the Peanut figure, and he's 145 points. He was also, since they were all 3 mystical, I had a theme team, and he had the Heroes for Hire ATA, and we also had a full utility belt with, we had 5 items on the utility belt with the Suit of Sorrows, and that was going on Ghost Rider. So it was 3 full rounds, and we used the new event system for the entire thing. So the first round that I played against was the other Josh that comes up. I don't know his last name, unfortunately. And he was playing a Lanterns team. He played with Crib from the Yellow Lantern, from the War of Light set, the Mongol piece from War of Light, and Graf Tehran from the War of Light set. So he had 3 lanterns from War of Light. I won initiative on it, so I ended up giving him the play. I took the pass on that. I ended up picking the Brazil map for Fear itself. And so first turn, he moves in all of his figures up a little bit. When my turn comes up, I end up having Ghost Rider carry Nightmare 8 spaces out, and then I pop my Hero for Hire. I pick up an Ultra Heavy, and Nightmare sits down. I end up having him outwit Graf Tehran's Invulnerability, and then I move in with, I pop my Heroes for Hire token off of the ATA for Ghost Rider, jump in with a charge, and try to hit him for 7. And I ended up missing, which really felt terrible because I didn't have any bonuses off of the belt. So it was a pure 11 AV on like 17. So I just ended up missing, and I didn't have any probs at that time. And then after that, I had Iron Doom move up and do a little bit of outwitting work on him. Next turn, he just ended up moving. He had Mongol range attack on Ghost Rider, and he hit me for 3 on that. And then afterwards, he just passed the turn over. Namely because he knew that he couldn't push with Crib because of Nightmare's special, where whenever somebody would take pushing damage, then he gets to heal for 1 click. Nightmare didn't have any damage on him, but still, he didn't want to chance anything like that possibly happening. And I don't think he was looking at the clicks. I'm not totally sure. After that, I ended up having Iron Doom outwit the attack special that was on Mongol that gives him the Black Mercy tokens. I really didn't want that happening because that was going to lock a lot of my team down, and I really couldn't afford that to happen. Had Ghost Rider attack with a flurry because I ended up with I don't remember how I got flurry. I don't have it written down. I've got all the notes here. I don't remember how I got flurry, but I had Ghost Rider use flurry. I may have gotten it off the belt. I may have had bonuses on the belt. I'm not sure. But he ended up missing both hits with flurry, so he wasn't doing a whole lot of work at the moment. Then I had Iron Doom do a running shot on Graf Taren, and I hit him for 4, and then I ended up having Nightmare outwit something on Graf Taren. I don't remember exactly what I had him outwit. Next turn after that, Graf Taren does an attack on Ghost Rider and misses, and then he assigns the White Lantern Ring over onto Graf Taren because he pretty much knows that I'm going to end up KOing Graf Taren on the next turn. So then my turn rolls around. Nightmare outwits Crib's Impervious. I kind of had, so I had Ghost Rider set up, and then I had Iron Doom and Nightmare kind of flanked on the outside so I could get a view on everybody. So I had Nightmare outwit Crib's Impervious, and then I did an attack on Graf Taren and Crib with Nightmare. And he gets a bonus to his attack value based on attack action tokens that are on them. And so I ended up hitting both of them. I did 2 damage and 2 damage to each of them. Then after that, Iron Doom outwitted Mongol's invulnerability and then attacked him, and he hit him for 5. So that was a huge chunk of damage that I was able to get out. And then it didn't last many turns after that. Crib ended up trying to attack on Iron Doom, ended up missing. He passed the turn after that. Iron Doom ended up outwitting Graf Taren's combat reflexes, and then Ghost Rider went against Graf Taren. He hit him, but then the White Lantern Ring ended up activating. So after that, Nightmare ended up outwitting Graf Taren's close combat expert, and that was the turn. And then the last turn was Graf Taren hitting on Ghost Rider, and he hit, but he knocked Ghost Rider down to where he was able to get his penetrating damage attack special again. And so, no, sorry, take that back. He knocked him down to where he had poison. And so then poison ended up KOing Graf Taren. Taren was on his last click. Ghost Rider ends up doing a ranged combat attack on Crib, hits for 4 damage. Nightmare ends up on hitting Crib, and then that KOs. And then at some point around there, Mongol ended up getting knocked out. I don't remember exactly when. So I ended up getting that round, and it was for like 508 points. So it was a pretty decent round. Second round, I played against Patrick. My buddy Patrick, like I said, he was running an Alpha Strike team. So he had Darkseid, Calabac, and Big Barda. So again, I won the initiative roll, gave him the play. We were on the Brazil map again. He ends up moving on his first turn. That's it. I ended up carrying Ghost Rider in, carrying Knight Rider in on Ghost Rider. Did almost the same exact move and just placed Nightmare exactly where I had him before, except I had put a object token over there. I put a light object token over there so I could set him inside of hindering terrain, because I knew that Darkseid was going to try and do some big ranged combat attacks, and I also knew that Big Barda was going to try and do some penetrating psychic blast, so I needed to buff my defense up just a little bit. Then I hero for hire Ghost Rider onto Calabac, and I hit with the ultra heavy object and exploit weakness, so I hit for 7 damage. Basically flattens out Calabac, except he's still alive. Iron Doom outwits Calabac's defense, and Nightmare, Iron Doom, somewhere Iron Doom, I don't know, I may have it out of order. I think Iron Doom outwitted the defensive special before Ghost Rider ended up attacking. And then Nightmare ends up outwitting Big Barda's charge, because I didn't want her being able to charge in on me. I didn't think about the ranged, but I really didn't want her charging in on me more than anything else, because I didn't want her using the ultra heavy that she was carrying. So the next turn, he has Big Barda attack on Ghost Rider with Pin Psych Blast. Because Darkseid's on the map and she has one action token, Darkseid gives a +1 to attack and damage values for anybody with the Apocalypse keyword. So she ended up hitting me for 5, penetrating, and then after that, Calabac ends up hitting Ghost Rider, KOs himself, but, well, KOs Ghost Rider, but then because of the Mystics TA that's on Ghost Rider, he ends up actually KOing himself on top of that. So I ended up getting 1 figure for 1 figure. It was a decent trade. After that, he passed the turn back off to me. Nightmare ends up attacking on Darkseid. He ends up hitting, I don't remember for how much, I think it was for 4 damage. Yeah, it was for 4 damage. 2 damage. I don't remember because but Darkseid can reduce the amount of damage that he gets dealt even if it's penetrating. After that, Patrick clears. Nightmare ends up attacking on Big Barda. I think I ended up hitting Big Barda. I don't have any notes for the rest of our match after that, but I do know that the match ended up with Nightmare being 2 clicks away from dead. Darkseid's on his last click. I ended up phasing, teleporting over, pulse waving at him for 3, and then he had to clear again. I pulse wave, missed, and then I was going to have to clear after that. So he went to roll regen, rolled a 2, so he didn't get to regen back up any clicks. And then after that, he ended up trying to regen again. And I just ended up pulse waving at him. The 4th pulse wave that I did finally ended up hitting him again because it was like a 10 on 17, so it was still a fairly hard hit, and I ended up getting that round. So that left me 2-0, and his team was like 598 points. Like, it was a fairly large amount. So I was sitting pretty good at 2 wins, and I was really confident going into the 3rd round. The 3rd round, I had to play against my buddy Lance. We played on Brazil again. I won the initiative roll. He ended up running Tiamat from the Deadpool set, I believe. I believe it's from Deadpool set. The Spider-Man 2099 piece from the Amazing Spider-Man set, and the Scarlet Witch at a full 175 from the Avengers vs. X-Men starter set during the Avengers vs. X-Men event. So turn 1, Lance moves. I end up doing the same thing. I just have Ghost Rider pick up Nightmare, run in. Ghost Rider, Hero for Hires onto Tiamat. He's got an ultra heavy object, an exploit weakness, hits him for a full 7 damage. After that, Iron Doom ends up outwitting the Perplex off of Spider-Man 2099. And then Ghost Rider ends up using the utility belt on Tiamat to kill off his Power Cosmic. So the way that works, when you have 5 items on the utility belt, you can choose a character within 10 squares in line of fire, and if you can make it to where they can't use team abilities. So you don't counter it, but you can stop Power Cosmic that way. They can't use the willpower that it gives, and they also can't use the fact that their powers can't be countered. So it's really strong having the utility belt and being able to do that. And then Nightmare ends up outwitting the Invincible off of Tiamat, I believe. Yeah, that's why I was able to hit for 7, because Nightmare ended up outwitting the Invincible off of Tiamat, and that's how Ghost Rider hit for 7. It wasn't even necessarily the exploit. Turn 2, Spider-Man 2099 goes to hit Nightmare. He hits him for 1 damage, and he hits for 1 knockback. He knocks me back into the piece of elevation on nulls, and so I end up taking a point of damage off of that. I'm pretty sure that's the way that worked. If not, well, it happened. Then after that, Tiamat rolls Breakaway, moves 2, and then he ends up regenning 1 because he's got the special. No, he didn't have a special. He didn't use a special for that. So he had Sidestep on the Phoenix Force. He was using the Phoenix Force on the team. Had Sidestep, roll Breakaway, moved 2, regen, and he ended up healing himself for 1 click. After that, I ended up starting to use Ghost Rider's utility belt because I had Nightmare and Iron Doom next to each other, and so he brought Spider-Man 2099 up against both of them. Spidey 2099 was already on poison, and I had 2 action tokens on them at this point. Ghost Rider wasn't really able to do a whole lot because Spider-Man 2099 had already done a fair amount of damage to him. Scarlet Witch came in, killed off Ghost Rider. Spider-Man 2099 had poison hit on both of these guys. They end up going down. Spidey 2099 ends up dying to Iron Doom. But after that, it becomes a real difficult uphill battle for me. Tiamat is really on his lowest clicks, but because he was able to move up a group in the Phoenix Force, and because Tiamat still had Flurry and Blaze Claw's Fangs at that point, I believe he had Blaze Claw's Fangs, I know he had Flurry, he was able to come in and just sweep up my guys because of the Tiamat special, where once he deals damage, then he can be given another action as a free action, and if he deals damage during that, he removes the action token. So yeah, he ended up cleaning up Iron Doom, cleaned up on blah 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 on a Nightmare. The worst part was that I should have had Tiamat dead. So there was a point where Nightmare had his attack special, and I targeted both Scarlet Witch and Tiamat. He had a 17 defense, she had ESD, which meant she had an 18 defense, and I rolled and I hit. So he probs with Tiamat, roll and hit, probs with Scarlet Witch, roll and hit. I roll and miss. I prob with Iron Doom. I roll and crit miss, and then I roll and it would hit. Well, Harley ends up coming up and saying, no, the forced reroll comes into effect. And so one of the things we're going to make sure that we start doing is once an action has gone through, the action has gone through. If somebody missed a trigger, then they missed a trigger. In Magic the Gathering, if somebody misses a trigger, you don't get to go back and say, well, I forgot about this trigger. It doesn't work that way, and it has to start working that way in Heroclix for us. Moreover, guys, when you're in a tournament, that's for everybody at our local venue as well as everybody that's watching this video. When you are in a tournament setting, don't come up yelling stuff like that. Number one, this is a match between these two people. You can watch all you want, and you can sit there in your head and say, oh, well, he should have done this and that. But no, don't jump up and say something. You know, Patrick, unfortunately, he was saying something a little bit during the first match that we were doing too. Like that stuff, after playing Magic for so long now, like I haven't played it for a long time, but after playing, like I don't like people coming up and saying, oh, well, you missed this trigger and you should do this. That's not your place. That's our place. If we miss the trigger, then that's on us. You know, if we win or lose, we win or lose by that. So the reason this is important is because whenever that forced reroll would come into effect, it would have been after Scarlet Witch had already used her prob. So it would have been Tiamat uses prob, I still hit. Scarlet Witch uses prob, I don't hit Scarlet Witch, but I had 5. And it was with a 12 AV on 17 for Tiamat, I still would have hit him. And he only had 2 clicks left. So I would have killed Tiamat, and this would have been an uphill battle. I could have gone 3-0. Instead, I was foolish enough to just reverse everything that had happened, going back to the forced reroll. And I was so, just my head was confused, and there was this seething, not anger, but just, that I just ended up saying, screw it, whatever. Like, I didn't pay attention to the fact that Tiamat would be dead. And so he ended up winning with Tiamat. After which, I was very angry because I basically sat there and said, I was killed by a dead character. And I didn't realize my own mistake more than anything else. Like, I was so pissed that I made that fatal error in judgment on that. But what was worse was that I let myself get really upset about something kind of small and minuscule, like somebody coming in and you know, I say it's small and minuscule, but please just let the two people that are playing play it. If there's a dispute about something, we call a judge and we get the judge to come over and they talk to us. So that ended up being the third round. I went 2-1, but I did get points off of him for Spider-Man 2099. And that set me up to be able to be in second place for the tournament. So congratulations to Lance for winning. I ended up getting second. And then I don't remember who got third and fourth on it. Now, this isn't like the previous things where we're going to end up saying, oh, well, yeah, actually, I won third. Or no, like using the event system, it meant that we were able to get solid exactly by the event system standards, who should be first, who should be second, and everything else. So the event system worked. We'll see if it continues to work for us. So Lance and I decided that we would both grab our prize for each of us was a full 5-figure booster from whichever set that we wanted to choose it from. I hadn't bought really hard into the Invincible Iron Man set, and he hadn't either, from what he says. It's Lance, he probably did. So I ended up picking up a 5-figure booster. As you can see, it's already been opened. I already know what is in here. And I was like, oh yeah, you know, sure, like I'll end up picking this up and let's see. I mean, I don't know, maybe we'll pull a chase or something. And then I pulled a chase. So I hadn't gotten a chase from Invincible Iron Man yet. I also picked up the Unicorn, Guardian, Crossbones, and Dreadnought. I've actually got all 4 of those, but I didn't have this one. And this is the only chase that I really was interested in from the entirety of the Invincible Iron Man set, was the Iron Viking. So I was really stoked that I ended up pulling him. Definitely seemed like it was a pretty worthwhile prize to end up picking up. It's a really nice sculpt, and he's also got a really strong dial on him. He's got charge BCF with exploit weakness. Like, he's got exploit weakness for, you know, the first 4 clicks of his dial. Yeah, still fairly strong, man. No Indom, though, which kind of sucks, but he's 110 points. It's not bad. Not a bad prize to walk away with. So thanks to everybody that showed up today. We ended up having 7 guys that showed up. I'm really hoping that more people can show up for these. It was a really fun tournament because we don't typically get to play with these really big pieces very often. It was very, very cool to get to use. You know, I'd never used Iron Doom at all, and I'd never played Nightmare at his full 217 point line. I always played him at his 110. So it was really exciting to get to use that stuff. Next week is going to be the War of Light Month 2, which I'm really excited about because we have an increased chance off of this to be able to get some decent figures, and we have a increased chance to be able to get some decent pulls to make sealed play just a little bit better. I don't know if I could talk about all that stuff, but nonetheless, you know, thank you to the Game Closet for continuing to have these events. The week after that, we have what's called the Switcheroo event, and that one I'm really excited about the most because we have to build a team, and then the opponent will be playing that team for the actual tournament. So when we sit down to play, we switch teams out, and I get to play whatever they built. They play whatever I built. So needless to say, I'm going to build a terrible team. I think Static might actually show up in this from the Teen Titans set. I'm really excited about it. I'm really, really stoked to see what I can end up causing problems with for people. So that's it. You know, I hope you guys are having good luck with your tournaments. I know that a lot of people ended up doing Warlight Month 2 this week. We will have it next week, and I will have a recap for you as well. We're going to try and get some Thursday night fights in sometime this week or next week. They may not necessarily be on Thursday, but I'll try and post them up on a Thursday if I can. So I'm really sorry that you guys aren't going to get that this week. I know a couple of you guys have really been enjoying those videos. No, Lom, I don't know what you're going to end up doing this week, man. You're not going to be able to pick the matches apart. So I am terribly sorry about that, brother, and we will try to get you some matches so you have some comments to leave. So yeah, leave some comments down here. Tell us if you guys have done any tournaments recently. Comment question as well. If you guys did any tournaments over the course of the week, what you do, what you end up running, how'd you end up going, what were your prizes? Like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the videos. You know, the more that the videos get shared, the more that we get exposed, the more exposed we get, the more that we can do this. And we really appreciate everything. Tomorrow is Magic 2015, so we're going to be doing some Magic stuff tomorrow, a lot of Magic stuff. Stay tuned for tomorrow because it is going to be blow up crazy. We're going to have an unboxing where the Clash packs are out, so we'll probably end up picking up one of those. I plan on picking up the Duels of the Planeswalker game, so we'll probably get one of those promo packs so you guys can check out the alternate art, Soul of Zendikar, like all kinds of crazy stuff that we're going to end up doing tomorrow. So definitely check the channel out and keep up to date on everything. My name is Josh. Ow, that was weird. My name is Josh. This is Point Zero Games, and we hope you guys have a fantastic evening.